Now, what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to look at the first 9. So I'm going to take one whole row here and we're going to correlate those with the art of aroma perception in coffee. And so the art of aroma perception in coffee has all of these described. There are 4 posters. Each poster has 9 on them. Now they're not consecutive 9 rows equals 1 poster. So I'll jump back and forth between different posters, but we will walk through these. So if you want to grow in your sensory skills, this is a valuable video just to listen to learn and understanding the 36 flavor aroma vials that are inside of the Le Nez du Café. This is a critical part of your education journey. If you want to prepare for an SCA sensory course, intermediate or professional, if you want to join a Q grader course, studying this in advance will help you so much, because when you study this in advance, you lock that knowledge into your mind, and then you can recall that information when it comes time for you to take your course. You don't want to walk in blind. You want to have all of this knowledge, all of the study, so that you can just bring your senses to the table and you can recognize what you've studied previously. And just understanding quality control, understanding branding and packaging as we use quality, flavor, aroma descriptors. So the goal of this kit, 36 aroma vials, is to give you that core baseline of the most commonly found aromas, good and bad, in coffee around the world, so that when we deal with green traders, if we deal with coffee brokers or roasters, we are all using the same language no matter where we are in the world. Okay, so now with no further introduction, we're going to start on number 1. Number 1 is earth or earthy. It's part of the aroma group aroma group earth. And we can use this as an adjective to say that a coffee is earthy. Now, what does that mean? It's kind of a positive thing for me. I'm a farm boy. It has this like fresh tilled earth and the smell of working in the garden, like good earth, like rich, dark earth that there's worms and things are going to grow, and it just smells like a good garden. It's a major aromatic feature in coffee associated with a dry method of processing. So this was commonly found and still is in coffees that are dried coffee or natural processed, especially when the coffee cherries absorb the geosmine in the soil on which they are spread to dry. Robusta is often processed in this way, so an earthy taste is found in almost all coffees of this type. If you're going to have a Robusta coffee, you're going to expect and use this earthy as a flavor note. The parchment casing on Robustas is often removed to partly reduce the effect. The smell can also be transmitted during storage of the green beans. Coffees will express 3 types of earth in descending order. Black earth, the best for coffee, like I was describing, that kind of garden sensation, garden feeling. Red earth and gray earth. Okay, so as we use flavor descriptors and as we say this coffee is earthy, right? It probably has that natural dry processed aspect, coffee that was laid on the ground. It can absorb some of that geosmine, right? Some of that earthy aspect to it. And so again, whenever you're smelling these, whenever you're using these, you can smell the lid. The lid has all that aromas in it. You can smell the vial. Usually I just put them together like this and I will smell them just kind of quickly. Both nostrils. I don't want to overdo it. And now I've smelled this and I lock that memory in because I'm able to practice with this. That is the descriptor earthy. Okay. And so I might have a different idea of what earth or earthy should smell like, but I need to lock in what this 36 aroma vial kit is telling me, because that's what I'll be tested on in my Q grader. That's what I'll be tested on in my SCA sensory course. I'm not going to get that right now. I'm a little busy. All right, number 2. So moving on to number 2, we have potato. All right, so potato is part of a different chart here. In the old SCA flavor wheel, you might see and recognize this yellow stripe, enzymatic. So potato, enzymatic, is number 2. The aroma group is earthy and sulfury. So sulfuric. Yeah, very potato-like. Raw potato, like when you cut a potato and you just have that smell of potato coming out. Okay, so it's this earthy, sulfury. This is one of the most frequent aromas in coffee, although it does not dominate. Okay, so there are different levels of intensity. This is one that commonly occurs, but it doesn't dominate. If it did, it would indicate that the beans had not been sorted carefully enough. In normal doses, it's a distinctive sign that gives character to the coffee. Okay, so that kind of sulfur element, we're going to see sulfury or sulfuric later, and that's part of something that happens with just this kind of roasty, robust aspect that is in coffee. Potato, the smell of potato in coffee. So go to the grocery store, get a potato, and just peel the skin off. You're going to have that potato aroma. Number 2, this is one of those that you want to recognize. And it's part of that earthy sulfur group. All right, number 3. Number 3 is garden peas. So we're sticking with this enzymatic enzymes. Garden peas are part of the aroma group green or vegetal. Okay? So green, vegetal. Now when I'm smelling this, I have to create my own personal memories of how I'm going to remember this. Okay, so this is partly like peas, pea pods. When you break open the pea pod and you kind of have that smell of the garden pea. I'm also getting another vegetable that's really closely associated in my own mind and in my experience. It's just not coming to me now. It's almost like a jalapeno pepper. I just wait though. And this is something where you need to know this is exactly what I will face on my exam. This is exactly what everyone else, the other coffee professionals in the world will be smelling. So I need to identify this as garden peas. I'm calibrating my own senses to the flavor, the L'Année du Café kit. All right. So garden peas is always found in green or lightly roasted coffee. Always found. But the longer the beans are roasted, the weaker it becomes. It is more pronounced in the grounds than in the brew. Okay, so finding it in the fragrance especially. Some of these will be much more present in the dry fragrance, not necessarily the aroma or the brew. And it seems to occur most in Arabicas more than Robustas. It's a vital part to the balance of overall aroma, which gives liveliness and strength to the coffee. So especially in some of those lighter roasted coffees, it's found. It's that green vegetal garden peas. Yeah, and it's kind of nice. I mean, it's sweet. You know, sweet peas, that can be a good smell. But you don't want to put it on too many of your flavor no bags. Any of the green vegetable there. All right, number 4 is cucumber. So cucumber is also part of the enzymatic group. Cucumber, right down there. And number 4, cucumber, aroma group, green, vegetal. Although it does not dominate, it's highly characteristic. It's lively and fresh, and nevertheless, it's present in harvest, which have aged at a little and as a premise for more woody tones. So as green coffee ages, it changes. And so you have fresh green, and then you have slightly aged green, where we're going to find cucumber more present. And then as the green continues to age, it's going to become more woody and wood pulp-like. Yeah, very light, very soft. Again, get a cucumber from the store, peel that skin off, and you're going to have those cucumber aromas popping out. Cucumber is number 4 on this first row of coffee. We're jumping to number 5. Number 5 is straw. Straw is part of our earthy group. This vegetal, dry, earthy. So, straw, number 5. It's an aromatic taint. It's on the aromatic taint poster. Something that we're not going for in coffee. There's a problem here. Okay, as a child growing up on the farm, it reminds me of going into the barn. Some barns, more than others, would store straw, and they just have this dry, dusty straw-like smell, okay, dried grass. Some Indian coffee is said to be monsooned. During the months when they are exposed to the humidity of the monsoon, the beans, carefully placed in specially adapted warehouses, grow bigger. They take on an attractive yellow golden hue, and they acquire a definite sweet smell of straw. When evenly distributed, it's a distinctive, charming quality. Okay, so they're speaking of it in high terms. And I have some Vietnamese Robusta that has been dried in that way. I have some coffee from Thailand that has been dried in that way. It doesn't have to just be in India, Malabar. There can be other monsooned type drying coffees. But typically these beans are older, and you can see that yellow aspect. They have a sweet straw kind of smell. So number 5, vegetal dry straw. Straw is one of those that you want to be able to identify and be familiar with. Number 6, moving right along. Number 6 is cedar. Now, cedar is a type of a pine tree. It's this resinous resin. Cedar is woody. The aroma group of woody. And it's an exquisite scent. It's a hallmark of some of the thoroughbred coffees of the world. It never dominates the other aromas, but rather it combines with them subtly, mingling gracefully to constitute what would be appropriate to be called a bouquet, right? A bouquet of aroma. It's more pronounced in mature harvests. And it often comes out in some of the darker roasted aspects of the coffee. Again, it's not going to be dominant, but it has kind of this resin. If you think about some of the smells that we often use at the holidays, if you celebrate Christmas, kind of that Christmas tree candles, some of that sweet, aromatic, woody tones. Number 6, cedar. Aroma group, woody. And we're moving close and into spicy. So these kind of move in and they're close to. Number 7, I love number 7. Just smell that all day. Clove-like. So number 7, clove-like. We're in the spicy category now. Spicy and sweet. Now, spicy doesn't have to just be like hot pepper spice. It can be this clove-like baking spice. It's rather uncommon as an aroma. It's prized and appreciated for its delicate, spicy complexity that gives depth to coffee. And it really does give depth. Sometimes you get a real fine coffee that's darker roasted, typically darker roasted, and you get this clove-like aspect. Spicy and sweet, number 7. You can get cloves from the store just as a little spice. You can grind them. You can smell them whole. Clove is used in meat in some places. It's used in the West with baking, sugar, and cookies. Number 8, we move into pepper. And specifically, it's like a black pepper. I've smelled white pepper as well, and there's red and green pepper. This is pretty much a black pepper. It's strong and terpenic. It's kind of a metallic quality, and it's flattering to coffee. It gives it punch and relief. So whenever you have this coffee, this dark roasted aspect of coffee, we expect coffee to be bold. These are those pepper-like qualities. Get some peppercorns, black peppercorns, smell them whole, grind them, and smell them fresh when they're ground. Number 8, pepper. All right, number 9, moving on to number 9, we have coriander seed. Coriander seed is really nice. The problem is we don't use the word coriander as often in the U.S. In American English, we use cilantro seed, coriander seed. Okay, coriander seed, number 9. This is still part of that spicy family. But we're moving into floral. It has this kind of sweet aspect to it. It's kind of a floral, spicy. This is a dominant scent, only slightly less so than the other major compounds. Not a lot of description there, but coriander seed, again, it's not isolated as one aspect of coffee, but it's just part of that bouquet and that combination of coffee, one of those critical components, number 9, in the aroma group of coffees. So that was our first set of 9. Our coffee aromatic flavors: earth, potato, garden peas, cucumber, cedar, clove, what'd I miss? Straw, cedar, clove-like, pepper, and coriander seed. All right, so that was the first 9. We're gonna jump into the next 9. Let me take a drink here. And thanks for everyone who's joining. I see lots of waves. I am talking too much and doing this, so I can't be typing on the Instagram Live. And I'm also recording this for YouTube, so I'll be able to put this up and I'll document this elsewhere. You can come back to it. I'll try to link some notes, and that way you can have maybe some downloads, you can have some images. I can't share my posters with you. These are SCA digital. I purchased them, and so then I can print them off for my use in my training. But you can find these images elsewhere. The Art of Aroma Perception in Coffee. These do correlate with the Lene du Café. So if you look at these, right here we have these little aroma flavor vials. Those correlate with this kit. We're talking about the Lene du Café 36 aroma vials. Ways that you prepare for your Q grader, for your SCA intermediate and professionals, ways that you grow as a sensory professional, and how to develop a quality control program, especially if you're doing some of the blending and packaging, putting together labels for coffee bags.